So, because we all like repetition, as we talked about, I'm also doing sentence pattern 8 in this. And so how I'm frameworking it is as a practice for a thesis statement. Mainly because the way that section 8 or sentence structure 8 is set up, it is set up as something you're only supposed to use rarely, or which particularly a thesis statement is a good way to go about it. So we're going to be practicing in terms of argumentative essays, which would be a large in-class unit. And one of the big things that's going to help the most with getting an essay set up is your thesis statement, because it's the framework, it's the one-sentence summary of your entire paper put together. And we talked about it's going to be that dependent clause, that dependent clause, that dependent clause, plus an independent clause. And so you're going to have your first argument, your second argument, your third argument, followed by the overall consequence, okay? And I'm going to get a little bit more into detail with that. First of all, it's kind of a formula, the way that it's set up with the dependent, 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 independent. So what you want to think of each dependent clause of being is like an ingredient in a food that you really enjoy. For me, I chose strawberry ice cream. So here is my example and put in together as a thesis statement into my total argument. So because the strawberries are sweet, because of the sweetness of the sugar, because of the cold cream, strawberry ice cream is the best dessert on a hot summer's day. So we can see the identifiers right now. We can see that because of strawberries are sweet, that's a dependent clause. Even though strawberries are sweet, that's an independent clause itself, because that's the subject and it's a verb and it makes a claim. It's a declarative sentence if you take away the because of. Then you go into the sweetness of the sugar, and then because of the cold cream, and then you finally have that independent clause that can be left on its own. So bringing all four of those components together creates a strong thesis statement so that the reader is able to clearly identify what you're arguing, but also how you're going to argue it. And also it sets you up so that you're going to be able to write your argumentative essay with relative ease, because you already know what you're writing about. So what I want to introduce to you are these magic words. So with all of these words, all you have to do is place any one of these words in front of an independent clause or a complete sentence, and it automatically makes it dependent. Because of the way that what these do, they actually just make them dependent. So you notice like how my strawberries are sweet? That is an independent clause. But because I added because, which is the fourth one in that first one, it makes it dependent. So making sure that you add at least one of these at the beginning of each of that section is going to be vital. But also making sure that you don't include any of these in your independent clause on the fourth statement. Okay? So fist of 5. Fist meaning absolutely no comprehension whatsoever. 5, you could teach it to me. Please raise your hand on how you're feeling about it. Okay, getting 4s, getting 5s. Okay, got a fist? Okay, we'll talk to you later, okay, Taylor? All right, so what we're gonna do for practice is we're gonna watch a video, and it's going to give 2 sides of an argument. And so you are gonna choose a side. However, what I want you to do is I want you to think of independent clauses that decide your side of the argument, okay? So you're gonna write down, this side does this. That is an independent clause. You can't say because of this. That's a dependent clause. So you want to be mindful of how you are structuring your own arguments and what makes this good. So when you pick your side, think of all of the reasons that you see and all of the evidence that you see and how that's going to play into it. So afterwards, we're going to break up into about groups of 3. You're going to compare notes. So don't worry about having the same thing as everybody else, because if you have something new to bring to the table, it's going to enrich in your own discussion. Okay? So your argument is puppies versus babies.
Oh. 最喜欢写，你知道吗？
All right, so we have our evidence. No, not that. We have our evidence compiled. You saw how both sides of the argument play out. You should have taken notes on specific independent clauses. Babies have cute laughs. Puppies have cute whimpers. So take some time, about 30 seconds, compile your own arguments, and then you are going to meet up with somebody who has the same argument or same side as you do. Yes.
So it's specifically which is cuter.
Yep, which is cuter? Puppies or babies?
So here's the kid, here's the puppy. Yeah. Well, I didn't follow that. So, yeah, this is children.
So you and your small group, after you talk about which side you want to which side you want to advocate for or argue for, if babies are cuter or puppies are cuter, make sure that you come up with 3 dependent clauses using the magic words, and then an independent clause with your final argument, which will be anywhere from babies are the cutest, puppies are the cutest, or you can elaborate even further.
Or whereas. So like, so Taylor, I noticed that you have a fist. Is there anything that doesn't make sense? Did you really do it? Well, I forgot it. Did students ever do that? Yes. I appreciate you calling me out. You can say, given that, given both the baby and the puppies. Do we want to talk about it? Oh yeah, okay. I'm twisting it up. Something small and something mixed together. Babies leave messes in their diapers, whereas puppies leave their messes outside. Therefore, that wasn't in the evidence.
Even though blah blah blah.
Yep. No, I like it. I'm just being a certain. Because one of mine was something that wasn't in evidence, which is the dogs are stuck cute when they get a little bit. Humans get less cute. Get less cute. Could you say like even if babies giggle and a baby whimper, and even though babies smile, dogs are cute. Oh, but what? So if you were to, if that's a thesis sentence, it wouldn't be. Yeah, no, it wouldn't help you. Yeah, healthy. Like when you just talking about all the things that get cute. So, because puppies have tails. Because I guess I'm gonna have soft ears. Oh, that was their ears were the super heavy. I'll at least give adult humans a chance. It's not adults. What's wrong with dogs? Puppies are babies. Puppies are babies.
I mean, I thought about the when puppies become
A minute and a half.
Okay. I'm sorry to cut your arguments short. They're very, very valid arguments to both sides of what's going on. So real quickly, I'm just going to have maybe 3 quick volunteers to read out their thesis statement and their arguments. So do we have any volunteers? If not, I can call on people. Yes, thank you.
Since puppies have tails, possess floppy ears, and are better at sharing,
They're a superior pet to bring into your home.
Perfect. And see, what I really like about that is that you are able to go one step further with your dependent clauses, and that's actually something I was meant to bring up. Notice how in the first one, when I talk about strawberry ice cream, I use because of quite a lot. It's the constant thing that you always see. However, when I was starting to work on this one, but I mean, I'm just going to use two dependent clauses. If I take away this because of, it still makes it a dependent clause. So because of cute laughs, funny faces, and an object third thing, babies are cuter. So which would be my argument. So you can use an umbrella term. You don't have to use one of those magic words in every single dependent clause. But if it helps you to determine, okay, is this a full sentence?